I think the question that kind of comes to my mind is this then something only the big tech can actually solve? If intent slash context etc needs to be embedded into making voice AI truly natural, then is it a game for startups, or is it actually something only that the big tech companies should or could be aiming for? And I'm going to
Yeah, I think the opportunity is very wide. It's just not the big tech. I think the it's so democratized right now that even a two-person startup can come and shake up how the reasoning or the context layer gets unlocked. And I think because of the access to technology and the ease of building some of these architecture foundations, it's just the ability to crack the last 10%. And I think everybody is trying to close that gap very quickly. The advantage some of the big techs have is the customer data that they play with, and the advantage that the startups and early builders have is the ability to quickly pivot and change their architecture at wish and will, at the pace which cannot be matched by the big tech. So I think it's a great combination, and we sort of see a very an opportune moment to collaborate across the ecosystem with this.
I don't think it's a large tech specific problem to solve, especially when you narrow the context to, let's say, BFSI in India, and within BFSI, let's say you narrow the context to insurance or lending. That's when startups can actually play a much, much deeper role than probably a large tech can. And the problem is there of availability of data, especially in the Indian context, right? Availability of data, availability of rich data that can be utilized. But when you narrow the context and let's say work with a couple of banks or a couple of large traditional insurance companies, there you have the data availability, there you have a narrower scope. And if you have the right tech talent plus the right infrastructure availability, I think you can do wonders as a startup as well. So we are very, very excited about this space. And Shubhangra, to your earlier question on macro trends and how things have changed, I'll give you an example. We had invested in a company called Unifor back in 2000, early 2010s, 11, 12 time. And at that time, voice AI was about being at the back end, right? So customer calls are taking place, and Unifor's technology was analyzing those customer calls to suggest how to better have a conversation and to better convert those customers. Now, lately, what we see, and I'm sure Ganesh can also chime into that, is voice AI technology has moved from back end to front end when these customer calls themselves are being done by voice AI themselves. So that's a huge change. Whether that's it's plateauing, definitely not. There's a large gap over there, especially in the Indian context also, and we are waiting to see what happens next.